So Sega released some DLC for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds at the end of March, and there's a bit to talk about regarding the contents of it. With the sudden announcement of the release date of the Mega Man Pack DLC, I wasn't really surprised, but I was very excited to finally play as the Blue Bomber and Proto Man in the game. I was also not surprised that it fell on the same week as the Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection's launch, which is something that I would consider to be one of the worst kept secrets, at least when it comes to Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, though there was a period of time where I thought Infinite was going to be the character. I'm glad to be wrong about it. Back to Rock, I wanted to take a moment as an enthusiastic Mega Man fan to go over some of the contents of the DLC, some criticisms, and some ways that you can make the game less Sonic. As always, don't forget to like, hype, sub, comment, whatever you gotta do, and let's get into the video. Actually, before I do, there's something I want to briefly touch on, and it's the Something About Mega Man DLC video by Terminal Montage, and I'm just gonna say this, it's fantastic. It's a great throwback to so many things, the silly humor sprinkled throughout. I think you should watch it, if you haven't already. And it's also got something that you wouldn't normally expect in a modern product placement with Sega, but I'll let you figure that out for yourself. Let's talk about the DLC. Starting off, I gotta complain. From the trailer and everything, I had a feeling this was gonna be heavy on the Mega Man 2 representation, but I wasn't expecting to be disappointed by the music selection. Don't get me wrong, it's all good stuff, but it's also just Mega Man 2. And I do have a bit of a quick tangent. When the Mega Man 2 main theme is close to looping, I swear it sounds like Dragon Soul, the first Dragon Ball Z Kai theme song. I'd play it, but copyright. I'll leave links in the description so you can hear it for yourselves. Anyway, I would have loved to have more music options like some of the other characters were given. There's not as much Mega Man 3 representation aside from something that we'll talk about in the festival and also Proto Man just being there, but there's a reason I wanted to talk about this, and that's because Jun Sonoe worked on the arrangement for the Mega Man 4 medley for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That would have been perfect to include. It keeps it to the NES era, but it could also get players curious about other awesome games in the series aside from Mega Man 2 and 3. And when you look at it, they really threw in a bunch of music for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I mean, just take a look at the list. There's a lot of them, and there's some new remixes for that game specifically. It would have just been nice. But I'm not going to harp on this for too much longer. Let's talk about the track itself. Obviously, this is based on Mega Man 2's Dr. Wily stage, though it is an amalgamation of all the stages put together from the NES Classic. The opening section, you have the Mega Buster pickup from Mega Man Battle and Chase, which is a unique item that can be used on other players, and what we'll see ahead. The first big turn, we're going to see the Mets. These are the simplest enemies in the game and make their appearance in the 4th level of Mega Man's endgame. Same goes for the Tellies. They're in the next segment of the track, but so is the Met in this little lookout that resembles the one of the first stage. It would have been nice to have a Sniper Joe because I want to be super nitpicky like that, but still, I think that's kind of cool. At this point, there are 2 paths, though they do morph back into one really quick. It doesn't matter which one you use because these blocks will get in the way, and they can only be destroyed with the Mega Buster or whatever weapon that you happen to have on you. But they also have this glass-like button that resembles the Crash Bomber. Turn the corner, and it's the Yellow Devil. Not a Mega Man 2 boss, but he's iconic enough to include. I mean, Nintendo plopped him into the Wily stage level in that game, so it makes the most sense to do it here too. Avoiding these red spherical eye boogers is probably the best way to go. Next up is a turn that doesn't have a lot to note on the track. But what's that? Yeah, those are the transporters from the boss rush. Though I got a bit of a slight nitpick. The transporters are not right. There's an extra column on each side, meaning that it added 2 extra transporters, making it look like there were 10 Robot Masters. I get it, not the biggest deal, but they did go out of their way to get as close to as accurate as possible, and I mean very close. It's just something that I've noticed that stuck out as bizarre. And in the final room is a mix of 2 Wily bosses. The Wily machine in the room of the final battle, specifically the first phase of the Wily machine, since the projectiles are shot in a parabola-shaped pattern, and congrats, welcome back to math, get your calculators out. Anyway. And the final part of that boss is the room that you're in. You can see these little stars or little dots going around on screen. It resembles that of the final boss where Dr. Wily has an alien version of himself that's actually a hologram, but we didn't know that yet. That effect goes around in this room, and you can even see this little thing on the top of it. Isn't that cool? There's not much else to talk about when the lap ends, but when you come back on the final lap, there's a few changes. Some of the Mets in the block room are gone, so it's easier to get through without a buster or any other kind of weapon. Where the changes really come into play is in the Yellow Devil room. He now moves from side to side, and what's this? I'm sorry, but is that the same pattern from Mega Man? It's kinda slow, but if anything, it's for the better. Imagine trying to fly past one part while another one's about to fly into you at the speed of the original. They might as well just put up a brick wall. And that's the only part that changes between the first and final laps. As a stage, it's solid. There's enough going on that'll satisfy a lot of Mega Man fans, but I wouldn't rank it as one of the best DLC maps in CrossWorlds. That goes to the Minecraft map, which is undefeated in terms of variety. As someone who appreciates classic Mega Man and has come to terms with the fact that the second installment is the most popular one to this day, I feel like the flight section could have done more or could have been more. Like, how cool would it have been to have the Mecha Dragon or the Boo Beam Trap incorporated into the flying section? Hell, having Wily come out as the alien in Lap 3 would have been cool as well, but that's just how I feel. I still enjoy the stage, and during the Mega Man Festival, I was never going to select anything else. Sorry to every player who got tired of Wily's Castle, but my favorite thing is better than your favorite thing. I know I kinda just jumped into the level and ignored the new addition, but let's get into it. The Mega Buster. Like I mentioned earlier, this comes from the PS1 racing game Mega Man Battle and Chase, a kart racer that originally released in Japan and PAL regions. American fans would not see this game until its inclusion in the Mega Man X collection on GameCube and PS2. The awesome thing about this inclusion, and another that I'll bring up later, is that Battle and Chase is a game where you can win the pieces of other characters' vehicles to make something very cursed, or to make something all your own. Now, does that sound familiar? It should, because it's Sonic Racing CrossWorlds' vehicle customization, though it's not exactly the same. Anyway, the Mega Buster has a similar use in Battle and Chase. You can use it to attack enemies littered throughout the racetrack, and defeating them is needed to generate an item to use. You can even charge it and it'll knock out multiple enemies, or larger enemies. Wait, now that I think about it, where's the giant Met in CrossWorlds? Never mind. You can use the Mega Buster to hit Mets, Blocks, the Yellow Devil, Dr. Wily, but you can also hit other players. Since you do get 3 shots, the attacks are weaker than other items, which makes sense for balancing reasons. As for characters, Mega Man and Proto Man have finally made their way to the game with new models? Yeah, it's definitely not the Smash Bros. Model, and it's not anything from Mega Man 11 or the upcoming Mega Man Dual Override. Hell, I even had to check Mega Man X Dive just because I wanted to know where it came from. These appear to be original, though if I am wrong about that, feel free to correct me in the comments. I mean, look at Mega Man, he's no longer a little guy. And then there's Proto Man, just looking so damn cool. With the characters, we also get Mega Man's signature vehicle, the Rush Roadstar, also taken from Battle and Chase. This is really cool, but I am noticing the bizarre scaling with this one. Maybe it's the size of the vehicles or something, but Mega Man appears to be much smaller in this version than he did in the Battle and Chase Roadstar. I don't have much more to say except for the models look fantastic, and I'm not even talking about the playable characters at this point. Even the models for the Mets, Tellys, Yellow Devil, and even Dr. Wily look amazing. Wily's the most baffling because you don't really get close enough to take in all the detail, and he's only on screen for a few seconds at a time. I even like the emotes, but there is something that's off with one of the poses. The pose that Proto Man uses for the Come On emote is actually the one for the Yes emote. I think there might have been a screw up right there. The unfortunate thing is that with both characters, and it applies to a lot of other DLC characters as well, is the lack of voice acting. They use sound effects from the NES game in place of voices, though I don't know who could have been used for them at an official capacity. Proto Man's last English voice actor was Jonathan Love for Mega Man Powered Up from almost 20 years ago, and it gets more messy with Mega Man. Shortly after the announcement of Mega Man Dual Override, the last VA for Mega Man, Ben Diskin, announced that he would not be returning to the series due to Capcom not allowing him to work under a union contract, which would guarantee protection from AI. As of the writing of this video, SAG-AFTRA has placed a do not work order on that title. The point is, even if the other DLC characters had voice actors reprising roles, things would still be messy with the Blue Bomber. And I guess that'll do it for the DLC. Let me make it clear. This is awesome. I've enjoyed playing as Mega Man and Proto Man since the release of the DLC, and I've been trying to go for the S rank on Wily Castle's time trials. I've got a long way to go with that one since I'm not as skilled as other players, but an A rank for now will suffice. Without voices, it does seem a little weird going around making beeps and bops with the emotes, but leave it to the community to come up with a solution. The moment the DLC dropped, thanks to Namcom, Kaitotaku, and Octogenius, the Speak Mega Man DLC adds voice lines for both Mega Man and Proto Man, utilizing the talents of the Ultimate Otaku and Hyper voice acting. These two do a fantastic job, and their work fits really well with the two robots. As much as I like the Proto Man whistle and the E-Tank sound effects, this is really cool. Try it out if you have access to the PC version. When the duo were first announced with the Rush Roadstar as the vehicle, there were some who wondered why the Rush Jet was not the vehicle of choice. I actually had the original mod release for the game before I even had Sonic Racing CrossWorlds on PC. Thanks, Red One. The drawback of this is that it's only provided for PC players. So what do you do if you're on console? Well, fans have taken to recreating the hoverboards from the games, specifically Mega Man 2's Item 2 and Mega Man 9's Protojet. I can't speak much on the Protojet since I didn't really look into it until the writing of this video, but I have some experiences with recreating the Item 2 vehicle, and I'll say this, you're going to have to make some compromises when making your own. Do you want the sleek look of it, or do you want the thrusters but with propellers instead of fire? Also, don't think you can just have a number 2 decal in white. Apparently there's a brand decal that can't change color, which would have allowed this to become even closer to the real deal. Oh, and the yellow in the back will spill into the back of the Extreme Gear. So if you're willing to put up with a little inaccuracy and imperfection, then go for this build. Here's what I used for mine, and I was rolling with it for months on Xbox. But with that, we have a vehicle and 2 options for extreme gear vehicles, depending on your platform. One of them's more accessible than the other. But what if you wanted to add, let's say, a unique horn to the vehicles for more Mega Man flair? That's where the festival came in. The festival has come and gone, so obtaining rewards from it is no longer possible, so the unlockable cosmetics are no longer available. There is a chance that they could return, but that's if the company decides to rerun events or make them available for Donpa tickets. Throughout the festival, players are put in teams of 4 to play different objective games that rotate every 30 minutes. The point is to theme them after the character the festival is based on, or to try and force us to think that Tap Boost is a fun game. In the case of Mega Man, the other games were Ring Grab and Item Shoot. The one that makes the most sense out of them is the Item Shoot, because some of the weapons in CrossWorlds resembles the weapons in the Mega Man franchise just enough to be a great fit. The boxing glove could easily be the hard knuckle, the shuriken could easily be metal blades or shadow blades, and I guess if you want the black hole bomb, well, the Void Wisp is about as close as you're gonna get. Look, it's not exactly 1-to-1, but they do look the part. And then there's the Ring Grab, which is just Ring Grab. I don't get its placement in the festival, but I do like the game, so I'll give it a thumbs up. And now for the rewards. The decals were close to what I was expecting, well, except for the Mega Man 11 decal. I was expecting all the 8-bit stuff, Mega Man, Rush, Proto Man, and the more confusing one, the Mega Man 2 level select. Funny enough, this is another thing that has a mod for it. The one thing that I asked as soon as I got into a match for the festival, where the hell's Bass? In the team selection, you get Team Mega Man, Proto Man, and Airman of all characters. Hell, even the top ranking banners have Mega Man and Airman on them. I was really confused about this third team, thinking that Bass is just right there and has an 8-bit sprite ready to go. Even Roll could have filled that spot. But then it hit me. This is probably a reference to the Japanese song Airman Gatao Senai, a Japanese indie song that became a meme in Japan. Written and published in 2007 by Suramikaru, it's a comical song about how one player is struggling to play through a section of Heatman stage that can easily be skipped by using Item 2. How does one obtain that item? By defeating Airman. This proves to be too much for the player, and the advice is to go for Airman's weakness, the Leaf Shield. And I'm sure you can guess what's next. They have difficulty fighting Woodman and need to get his weakness, which happens to be the Atomic Fire, and guess where you get that? The song's pretty catchy and it's definitely worth checking out. It first released as an instrumental, but would later have an extended version with lyrics posted by the band Team Nekokan a few months later. Prior to this video, I've only ever heard a portion of the song and finally got to listen to the whole thing, and I even got to check out this 10th anniversary video. I'm gonna link all 3 versions in the description as I try to get over the fact that this song is almost 20 years old. Anyway, let's get back to the festival. There is one thing that is optional, but it really puts the whole thing together, and it's this death animation horn that can be unlocked. I don't know why, but making characters say their line and then following it up with the death horn was more entertaining than it should have been.
I'm departing.
And a final note about the festival, if you really were annoyed that Bass was not picked as the third team, there was a mod to fix this. However, now that the festival is over, there's really no point. And I think that's about it for the official stuff. Now, I get why they went with Mega Man 2 for the majority of the collaboration. It's safe. It has a history not just for American players, but also Japanese players through nostalgia and meme culture. In fact, I do have one more meme-related media to share, and I promise it won't take up too much time. There exist 2 more songs, sort of. One of them is called, and I'm gonna really try with this one, Omoide wa Okusemen. It's a song about how the singer is reminiscing about their childhood and how things aren't the same anymore, which is still kind of a thing we do these days, I guess. There's multiple mentions about Ultraman, which is pretty humorous, and it uses Dr. Wily's castle theme from Mega Man 2. As for the other song, it's actually a medley of music called Kumikyoku Nico Nico Duga. These days it's looked at as a time capsule of Japanese meme culture from that time. Omaide wa Okusemen happens to be part of this medley, and I actually found out about it through an Auto Mario level, which are these self-play Mario levels, and this one was playing to the beat of it. It's actually kind of fun to watch. I do recommend watching that at the very least, so I'm going to link that as well. But I'm going to stop, because I'm getting a little too far into these tangents, but where the hell am I going to talk about this stuff? Aside from my gripes with it, it was a lot of fun to represent the Blue Bomber in CrossWorlds, and while the level isn't on par with the Minecraft one, it shook things up enough to make it very memorable. I would normally end things here, but we're still not done. Yes, I've covered the DLC, and I've covered some mods that can enhance the content that we have, but what if you want to add more stuff to your game to make it less Sonic and more Mega Man, like I said at the beginning of the video? Well, let's go over some of those mods you could add. When it comes to mods, we're going to start small and work our way up, starting with some more character mods. Anybody remember that awful US Mega Man box art? Sure you know it. Well, that version of Mega Man is now playable over the one that we get in the DLC, and he is smaller than I expected. This rotund version of the Blue Bomber comes from the crossover fighting game Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and his inclusion was done at the request of former series producer Keiji Inafune. Not for this one specifically, but for something original, because apparently we've seen Mega Man in other fighting games already. What else could you do? So, thanks for that. I don't know a thing about CrossWorlds modding, so I'm guessing the size is due to the proportions of the model or something like that. It would be uncharted territory for me, so I can't really speak too much on it. Next is the character that would have made sense during the festival, Bass. He's overshadowed the Hedgehog and is noticeably smaller than Mega Man and Proto Man. When I selected him, I thought he had voice lines for every emote, but nope, only when you select him. The model's kinda cool though. Joker has gotta be a popular character because there are 3 Mega Man mods for him, and also surprisingly come from the same person. We gotta start off with a reminder to first off buy Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection out now on modern platforms. This is not an ad, but if you want to pick it up with some kind of link, I have a Nexus link in the description. Please pick it up. This game is awesome. I've actually been enjoying the first game, and you can come watch it on my Twitch streams. Anyway, the mod includes the combo of Geostellar and Omegasys as Mega Man, and it comes with the voice lines and custom menu and victory music. Since the festival took place around the weekend of the collection's launch, I had to rep them throughout the weekend. While people saw me playing as Joker, I was actually playing as Peak. I had other options like Zero from Mega Man Zero and Mega Man X. The Mega Man Zero version is similar to the Star Force Mega Man version with voice lines and music, but also has an alternate version to use. You can use his cloak for Mega Man Zero too, and before I start acting like I know what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna lay it out there. I've actually never really dipped into the Zero series. I don't know, maybe I could change that one day. These mods are definitely worth checking out, with the Mega Man Zero version of Zero being the most complete out of the ones I've featured so far. There's also the one from the Mega Man X series, but it's not as complete as this one. But it's still cool nonetheless. Just remember to not put him in a car because the hair kind of gets messed up. He likes the voice clips and an alternate skin, but if you want to go through as Zero, there you go. And the reason I included it was mostly to transition to a mod that has yet to be released. This is the Mega Man X mod. He comes with his standard armor and his armor from X Command Mission, an RPG that I have never played, but I will say this armor does look pretty sick. Speaking of the armor, and I really wanted to wait to get to this point before I brought it up, the shield that you can obtain either through festivals or by using the shield item alters the armor for both X and Star Force Mega Man. X dons the first armor from Mega Man X, and Star Force Mega Man dons this red variant that I've only ever seen on merch. I'm still new to the series, but I can assure you this doesn't really come from any form in-game. X also has 2 sets of voices to use, so if you want to pick the one that you like, well, first you're gonna have to wait for this to release, but once you do, it's definitely worth playing around with to see which one you like. The reason I brought him up is because we have more than just a character mod. There's also a mod for Radical Highway that turns it into Central Highway from Mega Man X, or Maverick Hunter X, or even X7, I guess. It's not a mod of level design, but just the textures, so it's safe to use online. There's even some fun little Mega Man advertisements and some great renditions of Central Highway for laps 1 and 3. And I guess if you want to make your game more like Mega Man X7, you could add the Flame Hynard mod, but I think I'm out of time. Oh no, it's a shame I can't go over the And that covers the majority of the mods I had time to try out. There's more stuff out there, and I know there will be more coming to the game, thanks to dedicated fans. Honestly, I would love to see a round 2 of Mega Man DLC that includes characters like Roll and Bass, if you want to stick to the classics. Maybe add some other Mega Mans to represent the other series? I'm surprised Mega Man Volnut's nowhere to be found even in the mod section. Someone get him off the moon and on the racetrack. And I think that'll just about do it. If you like the video and you want to see more on the channel, you can sub and also like the video, hype it up as well. I doubt I'm going to do another video like this for other collaborations because I'm into the Mega Man games. It's something that I grew up occasionally playing and then as of the last couple of years really grew fond of. So at this point I want to say thank you for watching. Again, like, sub, hype, all the YouTuber shoutout stuff, and I want to thank my supporters. You can find the Chaos tier, $1 tier members scrolling across the screen, but the $5 tier members get a shoutout. They are Dalton Furry and Ultima Jack 417. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to check out the streams and my socials. Those are going to be buried somewhere in the description because there's a lot of mods and stuff that I'm showing off. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and safe day, and I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, take care. Bye-bye.